Coming up on today's wrestling news, Ole Anderson passes away at 81.
The ridiculous reason why The Miz almost missed Monday Night Raw.
There were heavy teases for The Rock's in-ring return on last night's Raw.
And a former WWE Tag Team Champion is out with injury. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news.
Yeah, and we start with some sad news today. Ole Anderson has passed away. He was 81 years old after a long battle with illness that he mostly battled in privacy after several years out of the wrestling spotlight. But an absolute icon of the industry, debuting in the late 60s and into the 70s, 80s and early 90s, where he was an influential pro wrestler and booker for Georgia Championship Wrestling, GCW, before it of course became WCW, Jim Crockett Promotions before it became WCW, while booking both those territories at the same time. He was an inaugural member of the Four Horsemen and then rejoined the stable in 1990 when they kicked Sting out of it. As a kind of perfect cantankerous heel figure, he's part of some of the most legendary angles and storylines, which I'm sure will be shared across the wrestling media space today, including like an iconic turn on Dusty Rhodes. As I say, that turn on Sting, indeed the Horsemen initially kicking him out of the group in the mid-1980s. A controversial and divisive figure in later years. He made no secret of his difficulties adjusting to how wrestling had changed and his various wars of words, and probably worse with the likes of his friends Ric Flair and Tully Blanchard, but also pretty much all of wrestling's power brokers at the time, Vince McMahon, Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman. Ole Anderson had held down that job as a booker within WCW and all of his various incarnations throughout most of the 80s and into the early 90s, but once he was ousted, he kind of made no secret of the things he didn't like and the people he didn't like and all those sort of things. So his legacy is one of a man that was like held so steadfast to his principles that I think it cost him a lot of those bonds and friendships. He was like conspicuous by his absence when the Horsemen were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2012. There's a sort of semi-famous, I guess maybe slightly infamous interview he does with the Wrestling Observer with Dave Meltzer from the mid-2000s, where I don't think he quite realises that the Hall of Fame is a voted upon ballot and he just goes for Dave's throat on the call about why he's not featured in that Hall of Fame. That was Ole Anderson, kind of for better and worse ultimately. But I think like upon his passing, I think what we'll probably see over the days and weeks to come is an outpouring of memories and like all sort of thoughts that people have about his career in and out of the ring. Obviously our thoughts at WhatCulture go to his friends, family and fans in the light of his passing.
Yeah, not a great deal to add to that in terms of obviously, just devastating news, but also compared to the fact that lots of people, have been sharing these clips and these moments, and you get to relive some of his phenomenal highlights of that career. And I'm no doubt I'm not going to be alone in terms of going back and watching some of the best moments of him, the Horseman, and what have you. But as you say, our thoughts go out to his friends and family.
We put a sort of longer write-up of that on whatculture.com today /WWE, and I would highly recommend the likes of the Wrestling Observer and Post Wrestling in the days to come, where I imagine their long-form obituaries will cover all the details, things you will know, and then possibly some surprises that you might not about Ole's career as well.
Last night's Raw was very interesting in terms of The Miz being on it. It's generally, accepted that The Miz just pops up and does stuff with R-Truth. He seems to be factored into this storyline with Truth and Judgment Day and what have you.
Generation X.
He very nearly didn't make that segment involving DX and R-Truth backstage last night because he was stuck in a locker room. Before the show started. You may have seen this on Instagram Live.
As a shoot?
Yeah. He was backstage at the SAP Center, SAP Center, whatever you want to call it, in San Jose, California. And he posted an Instagram Live video saying, "I'm live on Instagram and I'm stuck in an 8x6 room in the arena and Monday Night Raw is happening tonight. They can't get us out. It's like being stuck in an elevator, only it's a real room. The door doesn't budge, it's a metal door. The lock doesn't work, we've tried it. I've tried pulling the door off of its hinges, but that doesn't work. I'm not strong enough. I thought I might be, but I'm not. People have tried kicking the door down, but that doesn't work. We don't have a hammer or a nail to get the hinges off the door. We can't do that. I might not make Monday Night Raw because I'm stuck in an 8x6 room at this SAP Center. This is life. I mean, luckily I'm not claustrophobic. Wish me luck," he said. He did make it out, as I said, because he popped up in that segment you may have seen on Raw. But it's got to be up there with some of the most ridiculous reasons for people to miss TV, this.
Yeah, it was So yeah, this Rex, I suppose we might be calling with DIY the Miz and Trees, was like, it felt almost suspiciously short on Raw. And then when you see this video, you wonder what, like, were there going to be more segments? Was there a bit more factored in that they've had to delay a week? Like some skits and bits, realistically, nothing that important. But if they had to hold off on some of that because Miz spent the majority of his day in that, like, well, sort of jumped up cupboard basically for the duration. He showed, like, the camera, was it on his phone or was it there was somebody in there with him?
Yeah, there was someone else in there, I think,
He mentioned that there was drinks and there was a TV, so I think he said something like, so I can watch the show even if I'm not going to be on it. So he was keeping it light, all things considered. And obviously,
been stuck anywhere?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like when I was younger, I know this is a nightmare scenario for some people, so it almost feels like it should come with a content warning. I feel like I very briefly got stuck in a lift.
I've been stuck in a lift.
But almost not long enough for it to become one of them things that sticks with you, because I know people that are frightened of lifts as a result of that.
Oh no, I'm fine with lifts, but I got stuck in there for about an hour with Anne Louise and missed the start of my radio show.
Oh no. Well, good, but then an anecdote for you died out for 2 weeks on the radio show.
Content, baby.
So you ended up rather than down in terms of the local DJ station.
But I tell you, there's worse places to be stuck than backstage at Monday Night Raw.
Such as where?
Well, actually, it'd be better to be stuck. Underground Arts in Philadelphia on the Sunday of night 2 of WrestleMania. We are the meeting, your WrestleMania sandwich. It's always sunny at WhatCulture. Goes down Sunday lunchtime, plenty of time to get over to the arena for night 2 of WrestleMania. Get your tickets now, whatculture.com/tickets. VIP sold out. But who knows, you could get stuck in a lift with us, or you can just get general admission tickets.
What I want to know is, if we're the meat in the WrestleMania sandwich, what are we offering for the vegans?
Good point.
I don't know, but I do know that if you look at the Underground Arts website, you'll find some fantastic options on there.
Yes!
You can get food and drink while you're there too.
I'll definitely be.
Even that.
I'm going to eat so much in America.
Do you know who might be joining us for this? Can't say for definite.
5 weeks tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Not the show, but as in that's when we head out.
I can't.
You might be there by then.
I can't. Might get there early. Day early in New York. Give me some recommendations of where to go in Brooklyn, because I'll be drinking there the day before.
Can I recommend Times Square?
They've got a big local restaurant there called a McDonald's.
Yes.
Get yourself a nice evening in New York.
If you're wondering which way is it, follow the bright lights.
The bright lights of the big city. Mm-hmm. Yeah, can't guarantee that he's definitely going to be there, but we're not saying that he won't be. The Rock.
Yes. Can't subject to change.
Was tantalisingly spotted in his wrestling gear on last night's Raw. They showed yet another one of them very cinematic, like Blade Runner-esque promotional videos for WrestleMania that they've been doing. But this one was to build The Rock's return to SmackDown, a show they're subtitling as Sold Out this Friday in Arizona.
He's doing a few appearances on SmackDown.
He's got the next 3, So this was
yes
part of building to the fact that The Rock will effectively be a regular on Friday nights for the weeks on the road to WrestleMania. But this clip was very different to the one where we've seen like Rock and Roman facing off with Seth and Cody, like looking all very grandiose. This wasn't Rock in his admittedly fantastic Versace shirt from '98, but with the sleeves cut off to bring the Hollywood Rock character into it. No, this was Rock in his trunks and boots. Again, further in the tease that we are going to get an announcement any day now of this man right here getting back in the ring. Of course, The Rock last appeared in his wrestling gear, technically for a match against Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 32 in 2016, but realistically his last one was against John Cena at WrestleMania 29 all the way back in 2013. That's been 11 years since we've seen The Rock lock up, and he's currently staring down, 2 challenges, I suppose, from Cody. One at Elimination Chamber and one last night on Raw when he said, Bloodline isn't hunting me, I'm hunting it. And then Paul Heyman got out not just one phone, a second phone.
Oh, yeah, he's got 2.
I wasn't particularly clued in on this, so I need a bit of help with Paul Heyman, right? He said, call The Rock. I'm sorry, I'm just calling The Rock. But, just in case I wasn't clear that he was saying that he was calling The Rock, his phone also had a Brahma bull on the back. So I knew for definite that was his Rock phone.
Do you think they do a little bait and switch with Cody, except Cody's hopefully too smart for this, where The Rock says, yeah, go on then, I'll fight you on SmackDown in 2 weeks or whatever, and then he goes, you idiot. And then all the, Solo, Jimmy, Roman all comes out, we're going to kick your ass. And Cody's like, you really think I was that dumb? And Seth comes out, and I don't know, Kevin Owens.
That's the tag. Yeah, possibly. Seeing him as a wrestler again, The Rock, as a boots and trunks pro wrestler. The least boots and trunks wrestler ever, but a boots and trunks wrestler. There's tantalising stuff.
Absolute best. I love you. Sorry.
Which is good, because he also loves The Mask, the film, as well as The Mask of The Rock.
What a year that was for Jim Carrey.
Was.
Mask and Ace Ventura. Go.
Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber, that was it. 1994 was his year.
Rather what is it called? What's the phrase? Formative year for me, that.
Me too. Bret Hart won the Rumble and he had that big limp on when Owen turned on.
Right, let's talk some bad news, actually, because a former WWE Tag Team Champion suffering an injury.
Yeah.
Piper Niven, you may have wondered where she was in that Battle Royal thing the other week that Raquel won to get the shot at Elimination Chamber. Fightful Select reporting that Niven has sustained a hand injury in the past month and hasn't been around lately. Internally, the fear was that she had a broken hand. She last had a match 3 weeks ago, some main event taping alongside Chelsea Green in a loss to Natalya and Tegan Knox. Obviously, Niven competed in the Royal Rumble and I think had a match on the Raw immediately afterwards. We haven't seen her on telly properly since then, so get well soon, because you always want to have her in and around the conversation, especially if they're going to do some sort of WrestleMania showcase, you would assume.
Yeah, we talk about this, don't we, quite often. It's the worst time to be picking up an injury, really. Prospect of missing WrestleMania, it's kind of that thing that wrestlers talk about being the all year round motivation. It does sort of explain as well why they've focused quite heavily on Chelsea Green getting promo time about wanting a WrestleMania moment. It's obviously like they're trying to hedge their bets at the moment that potentially the tag team will be free, but if it needs to be a solo thing for Chelsea Green, they want her to look and appear ready for it.
Hosting Chelsea?
Not impossible. Like, they've used Bayley in that role before at 37, where a heel...
They do know Bayley's fine at WrestleMania, don't they? They've not put her on any promotional stuff.
Don't love this.
There's got to be something behind this.
I don't know. Like, keen to see if anything about this changes in the...
She won the Rumble?
She did, yeah. This is not the first admission going back to Vegas, obviously, and now a new poster. That's what you're referring to, right? The latest poster that was dropped saying 40 days away. No,
I love Bianca Belair, but she hadn't even got a match yet.
Bayley won the Rumble. Justice for Bayley, and especially Paramore for Bayley, and get well soon, Piper Niven.
And Bayley Buddies, obviously.
Of course.
Let's move on to your Twitter questions. You can send them on X, of course, at WhatCulture WWE. First question today actually talks about The Rock. Thank you to Nescaf for this. Thank you for making my day with your news videos every day. You're more than welcome. You funny as hell. Thanks very much. Do you think we'll get an explanation of the combo between The Rock and Rhodes?
Well, Cody seemed to start a sentence that was going in that direction at Elimination Chamber. So it feels like week by week they're going to tease this out a little bit. Like, what is going to be... You've kind of hit upon something. The Rock was maybe just trying to manipulate Cody and then take his spot when he was back in the room to do so. I think they might. I just was surprised that they were even going to go near it. It felt dropped cold, and then Cody resuscitated it a bit, Elimination Chamber. So, long answer to a short question.
Loose ends, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, I think they will. I don't know how, but I think yes, they're going to do that.
It's a two-part, really, isn't it? I want to know, A, what the conversation was. I think it's relatively easy to do, actually, this. He listened to The Rock, who said, hey, you need to, do this, lent on his dad a little bit, and got in his ear, twisted his head, basically, and told him, do you want to fight the Roman? And then the moment where Roman was free, he was like, I'll fight Roman.
I'll take that one.
And then Cody was like, wait a second, what's going on here? Number two, what did he say when they were in the ring on that SmackDown? My sources tell me that The Rock let in and went, smell like up dog in here? Just absolutely served Cody. That's why the smile went off his face.
That was it. Just went, what's up, dog? Nothing much. What's up with you? Count my ring.
It doesn't matter what's up, dog. Oh no, I've messed it up.
Oh God.
Right, interesting one this.
Go on.
Uncle Bingo, thank you for your question.
Thanks, Uncle.
And thank you for your picture of Lily, the guinea pig.
Sorry, what's the guinea pig called?
Lily, not the Alexa Bliss one.
No.
Thoughts on guinea pigs?
No thoughts really. I think I'm allergic to rabbits, but I don't think guinea pigs, gerbils, chinchillas and the like have...
You want to fight with a guinea pig, you reckon?
Yeah, I'd batter it. Like, I would.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. I'm just saying if I was going to be in a fight with it, I would just hit it with
if I was backed into a corner as a guinea pig.
Tennis racket. Don't do it.
Don't do it then. Lily, good girl. Yeah. Uncle Bingo says, with two major feuds awaiting Punk, what do we think about this? Drew wins at Mania. We may be needing a new mega heel world champion after all. Mm-hmm. Punk jumps into a title-chasing role heel suit, gets a win later in the year, defends against an incensed Rollins.
Ooh. At the moment, but especially after last night's Raw, I can't look past Drew winning.
No.
Like, he is just... There are certain times when wrestlers become the form wrestlers of a company, and Drew is one of them in WWE right now. He's... hitting, not that he's hitting form, that's not fair, he's been in it since his heel turn kicked off last year, but his character is just hitting this brand new gear right as he's about to face Seth Rollins for the title. this sort of feels inevitable. You can even give Seth Rollins a massive win on night one in the tag if the babyfaces win that. So that, not that he needs protecting, you have to have winners and losers at WrestleMania, but you're still giving him this amazing thing, and then he loses the belt. I really like the idea of a Drew McIntyre helmed SmackDown with the world title, and then him basically just declaring domain over the place up until Punk returns. Thinking, did you think I'd forgotten? And like that being potentially Punk's first like major program for the title isn't with Seth, but is in fact with Drew.
Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround it's been for Drew. Yeah. He was gone in my eyes from the company a few months back, and then all this is just. Even last night when he went up to Jay and was like, you deserve everything that's happened to you.
It's quite amazing how that's come. Like Jay, echoing another Jay, in fact, has kind of been the catalyst for all of this and everything that's brought through to this point. But now he quite likes being at this point. So yeah, great stuff.
I love the fact that he's like just more than willing to accept all the help of the bloodline. Oh, go on then.
Yeah, fine.
Oh, what's that? AJ Styles has caved LA Knight in. I'll take that one as well. Thank you very much.
Lessons. I don't fancy learning from them. No, thank you.
Low-key gives us our final question of the day. Is WWE setting up a new title similar to the Trios Championships in AEW? There are several factors with 3 men and a woman. Judgment Day, LWO, Legado, Final Testament, Lashley Profits, BFAB, the OC maybe. Is this intentional or just formulaic?
I would say it's neither. I'd say it's a bit of both. It's formulaic in the sense that it is a proven formula for telling stories because you have leaders in rivalries, you have tag teams in feuds, you have matches that can build matches but are logical because the gangs are fighting one another. It's copying AEW's homework from a couple of years ago before the idea started to eat itself, so hopefully it doesn't happen in WWE.
Yeah, would you be open for a trios?
No, I don't like trios wrestling, but I especially don't think the trios belts came along at the right time in AEW. I think that...
I certainly don't think they're going to be mixed titles.
No, it's just not something WWE dabble with. I think the stables, as we've got them, should exist, but it's to exist for storyline purposes and don't have them start to sprawl, because I think we saw that happen in AEW and like loose allegiances didn't become too hard to track, but just came like not worth keeping up with because they'd be dropped and picked back up and stuff like that. WWE...
Plus, arguably, they've got 2 sets of tag titles. They just keep them together.
Indeed, they're both together at the moment. I think like what you've seen with Triple H and his love of stables and groups is that ultimately he wants to keep them as storyline devices as long as it's not them turning in on each other, because that was becoming his obsession and it was getting really annoying. He's pulled back on that a little bit. If you're going to have stables...
That's why he's Booker of the Year.
Have them be an actual stable. I don't disagree. Actually, what I was doing is I just said a funny thing to face, and I did think Triple H was Booker of the Year.
I'm a wrestling journalist. I only talk facts, me, mate. So, anyway, let us know your thoughts on that and everything we've discussed in the comment section below. And while you're at it, why not check out this video right here? We'll see you soon.